My name is Ryan Mitchell. I was 25 when my father, Daniel Mitchell, passed away. The news hit like a sledgehammer on a quiet morning, one I'll never forget. I'd just finished breakfast when I got the call. The hospital told me he had suffered a massive heart attack in his sleep. I didn't even get to say goodbye. My father had remarried a few years after my mother passed. His new wife, Monica, was beautiful, elegant, and significantly younger than him. I was skeptical at first. Who wouldn't be? A woman in her 30s marrying a man 20 years older? It didn't sit well with me. But she had always been respectful toward me. She never overstepped, never tried to be my mother. Just Monica. Always polite, always calm. After the funeral, I stayed at my father's house to help Monica get things in order. She didn't have any family nearby, and despite our slightly distant relationship, I couldn't just leave her alone with all that pain and responsibility. Grief is a strange thing. It makes people say and do things that surprise even themselves. I just didn't expect what she said to me on the third night after Dad's passing. We were in the kitchen, sipping tea. The house was too quiet. It echoed with loss. Monica had barely eaten since the funeral, and I was starting to worry about her. She was sitting across from me at the kitchen island, her face pale and eyes red-rimmed. "Ryan," she said softly, not meeting my gaze. "There's something I need to ask you. And I know it's going to sound insane. But I can't keep it in anymore." I put my mug down and looked at her. "You can ask me anything." She hesitated, then stood up and walked to the window, arms folded around her chest. "You remind me so much of your father. Your posture. The way you talk. Even your laugh. It's like he's still here when you're in the house." I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to say. She turned around, eyes filled with a mixture of sorrow and something I couldn't quite identify. "I'm not ready to be alone. I don't think I can handle this house, this emptiness. Every corner reminds me of him. Every silence is louder than it should be." "I get it," I replied. "Believe me, I do. He was my dad. This place, it was always filled with his presence." Monica nodded, stepped a little closer, and said something that caught me completely off guard. "I want you to stay. Not just for a few days. I want you to move in. Permanently." At first, I thought she meant out of loneliness, out of the need for company. But the way she looked at me suggested there was more to it. My stomach twisted. I forced a calm response. "You mean, help you keep the place up? Like a roommate?" Her silence was answer enough. "Monica," I started, unsure of how to even phrase my discomfort. But she cut me off. "I know what you're thinking. And I'm not trying to replace your father. I know how wrong this sounds. But Ryan, I don't have anyone. And maybe it's the grief talking, but I feel closer to him when you're here. Maybe that's twisted, maybe I'm losing it, but I don't want you to go." There was a long silence. I felt the weight of her request pressing on my shoulders. I looked at the walls, at the family pictures, at the worn furniture Dad had picked himself. It felt surreal. Every bit of it. "Let me think about it," I finally said. She nodded, biting her lip as if afraid she'd already pushed me too far. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind kept replaying her words. I tried to find a logical explanation, tried to convince myself it was just grief clouding her judgment. But the longer I stayed, the more complicated everything became. Monica wasn't inappropriate. Not overtly. But there were glances that lingered too long. Comments that brushed the edges of boundaries. Like when I came home late from a drive and found her sitting by the fire, dressed in one of Dad's old sweaters, sipping wine. "I used to wait for him just like this," she said, eyes fixed on the flames. "Now I wait for you." It was the kind of statement that made the air in the room turn heavy. I didn't know how to respond. I just sat beside her in silence, staring into the fire like it could burn the awkwardness away. Weeks passed, and I still hadn't made a decision about moving in permanently. My apartment lease was ending soon, and I had to give an answer. One night, Monica came into the room where I'd been staying and placed a key in my hand. "Whatever you decide, this will always be yours," she whispered. Her vulnerability disarmed me. I saw a woman who had loved my father, who was shattered by his loss, and who was trying desperately to keep a sense of connection to the man she'd lost. I wasn't sure if her feelings for me were confused grief or something more dangerous. But I couldn't walk away from her in that state. So I stayed. Things started to change. We developed a routine. Morning coffee together. Late-night talks. Fixing things around the house. Cooking meals. It almost felt normal. Until one evening, it wasn't. I came home after picking up groceries and heard music coming from the living room. Soft jazz, my father's favorite. Monica stood by the stereo, barefoot, wearing a silky robe. Her hair was down, eyes glassy from a half-finished glass of wine. "I didn't expect you back so early," she said. "I live here now," I replied, trying to sound casual. She smiled and stepped closer. "Right. Of course." Then she reached out, gently fixed the collar of my shirt, and left her hand resting on my chest just a little too long. I stepped back, trying not to make a scene. "I think we need to talk," I said. Monica didn't look surprised. She nodded and sank into the couch. "You think I'm losing it," she murmured. "You think I'm trying to make you replace him." I sat down across from her. "I think you're in pain. And I think you're holding on to me because it feels like holding on to him." She covered her face, silent tears rolling down her cheeks. "I miss him so much, Ryan. I miss the way he used to hold me. The way he made me feel like I mattered. I don't know who I am without him. You're Monica. And you're strong. You don't need to turn me into someone I'm not to cope." She looked up. "You're right. I'm sorry. This house, it's driving me insane. I thought having you here would make the grief easier. But it's only made things more confusing." The next morning, I packed a bag and told her I needed space. I didn't want to hurt her, but staying would have been a mistake. She hugged me at the door, clinging just a second too long. "I'll be okay," she said. Eventually. Months passed. I got a new place, started working remotely more often, focused on healing. Monica and I kept in touch, slowly rebuilding a healthier boundary. Time softened the sharp edges of our grief, though they never disappeared entirely. One day, out of the blue, I got a letter from her. Inside was a short note and a photo, an old picture of my dad smiling beside her at the beach. The note simply said,